It is certainly a good country, a country with a lot of potential. Obviously, you still have seen some disappointment over the last few years on the growth front. But as I said, from a fixed income standpoint as well as from a credit perspective, it certainly remains an interesting story, given we do see ample room for potential monetary easing from the central bank. We've started to see some push from the government side in terms of reforms, which obviously will pave the path for future growth in the economy.
So what is the potential growth under the second term of President Joko Widodo? Looking at now, our economic growth is stuck at 5%. So is there any chance that we can go higher than this?
I strongly believe the growth can be higher in Indonesia and can be meaningfully higher. But if you take a step back and think about the growth or unlocking the growth potential in a country, and through a combination of growth in consumption as well as investments, there's clearly a huge potential in Indonesia to grow. It has the right combination of now the political stability, the macroeconomic stability, and the demographics. What it needs to unlock growth is a set of structural reforms across labor, land, capital markets in order to make the investments a lot more easier and get more of the job growth going in the country.
Okay, what kind of things that we need in terms of policies at the moment, in your point of view?
So the key, obviously, as I said, when you think about the structural reforms, you need the whole set of reforms to make the investment environment a lot easier. So simple things like ease of doing business. Where does Indonesia rank on that today?
We have increased to, I think, about 74 at the moment.
It's still, there are 73 countries ahead in that case. So
I mean, it's not the best number, but we have, increased over the years. We were like in 100 something in like 2015.
So there's certainly improvement. As I said, we've started to see the focus from the government. There's also an expectation from a number of market participants and investors from the government to actually push harder on structural reforms in the second term. And as we see more of those reforms across the labor market reforms, which are obviously a big part of it, education aspect, which is in some ways the soft infrastructure in the country to have the right talent, skill set, the hard infrastructure that obviously is needed. If the government has the right set of actions and obviously has some fiscal push behind it, alongside obviously the monetary policy where you see the room and we probably see the rates coming lower, I think there's a likelihood of seeing the growth over the medium term ticking higher.
Higher to what extent? At 6%? Can we reach that?
It's a function of obviously how bold the reforms are. Can the growth go to 6 or 7%? I think it's very possible.
Very possible in the next coming years.
Next 3 to 5 years, I think the growth can certainly reach much higher, but it also will require a bolder set of reforms to make sure that it's the right environment from a domestic as well as the foreign investment perspective. And obviously the productivity is something that goes higher over time. There's no reason for growth not to be able to go higher, given, as I said, the mix of the stability and the demographics that the country has to offer.